What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's YouTube video on Jesse Spec YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Today we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of taking apart my 2ZZ engine. So basic steps such as putting it on an engine stand, taking everything apart, checking clearances of the valves, finding where those damn leaks are coming from. So anyway, without further ado, let's just dive right into it. Peace. Thanks again for our subscriber who picked up our donor car and is going to be using the parts for his own build. First step, remove all the accessories or parts that get in the way of an easy removal of the transmission. For example, hoses or different elements that are screwed to the transmission. Make sure to remove these in order to make it easier for you to remove everything later. Then I would start removing the bolts that hold the transmission to the engine. The drive shaft on the right is actually quite easy to remove. You just take two screws off and it comes out by itself. It's very easy. However, the left hand one, beware, it's really difficult. I will be showing you in a detailed manner how to do this. Starter motor is connected to the engine and the transmission with two bolts. These also help to hold the transmission against the engine, so make sure to remove these. This can be a very problematic point, so this trick was really useful. I saw it in a YouTube video, I forget who it was. Basically, you take a release fork from a clutch from another car. This is an AE86 one, and as you see, with gentle tapping, it comes out right away. I swear, without this, it's a real nightmare to remove. Once all the bolts are removed, make sure to add a piece of wood or something under your engine so when you pull out the transmission, not everything almost falls down. Just like this, for example, you see the use of the piece of wood. Don't forget, always be gentle with these parts, especially if you think of reusing them. In my case, I'm anyway changing the clutch. I have my OS Geekend racing clutch that I'll be putting on, the flywheel as well. But in other cases, be careful. Removing the flywheel is very easy. Just use an impact wrench and just be careful that the flywheel doesn't fall on the floor once you're taking it off. Of course, I didn't drop it. I'm just making a joke here. This step is very straightforward. Use the holes in the block that are made to fix the transmission against it by attaching the engine to the engine stand. You might have to use other bolts that are longer. It's only by attaching the engine to the engine mount that I realized that the balance of the engine is totally off, which made that it turned on the side like this. Nothing was broken, of course, but I was just a bit surprised. Here you see the 6-speed C60 transmission. I'm going to have to change the shifter linkage that you see in light gray, as well as install my LSD. There will be a video for this. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. This will be interesting. The long hose that you see sticking out of the header is for the EGR system. My racing header does not accommodate EGR, so we'll be deleting the whole system.
Oh my god, look at that nasty worn out belt.
This element is crucial because we will remove the 2ZZ loom and we will be replacing it by the 1ZZ loom. So make sure to not miss this step. Some sensors will be reused, some not. I will be documenting that later. This is a very self-explanatory and easy step. However, I like to remove the spark plugs and put them in front of the holes where I removed them, so I can actually see if suddenly one of the cylinders is running lean or too much oil in it or something like that. Everything seems fine, and what I like to do is just to make sure nothing falls in, put some paper in the holes. A very dreaded step in all 2ZZ engine breakdown and taking them apart is the famous lift bolt. Some cars that, for example, were imported or Toyota did not do the maintenance on them, the preventive maintenance of replacing these bolts. We come here to the lift bolt check. So you unscrew these two bolts and take a look at them. You see, it's a pointy one, which is a good sign, because if it were the round one, those were the ones that were snapping and breaking each time. So really got to be careful. So we can see this car was well looked after. Yay! Another important step is when the head cover is off, to make sure to check valve clearance and adjust if needed. So we see here, we'll be doing the intake first, is between 0.1 and 0.16 millimeters of play. So I'm using a feeler gauge of 15 and 20, and we can see that the 0.15 feeler gauge just barely fits in, and the 0.21 does not fit in. So we know that our clearance is in between 0.15 and 0.20, which means we're within the tolerances, which is a good thing.
Yep, it's gearbox one. LSD one. Oh. So nice LSDs? Yeah, yeah. More for dress though.
Once this is done, we do the same thing on the exhaust, except that the clearances are different. On the exhaust side, we see that we have to be between 0.24 and 0.3. So I took a feeler gauge of 0.25 and 0.3. We see that the 0.25 gauge fits in, but the 0.3 gauge doesn't fit in. So our clearances was also good. And actually, to my biggest surprise, all the valve clearances were spot on, which means I get away without setting my valve clearance, which is also cool. Many thanks to the guy who was looking after his engine before me. Thank you! In my own preference, I like marking, as you see, the timing pulleys and the crankshaft, just to have some extra markings in case. We know that the factory one has them, but I just like to put my own markings on it just to be sure and also quicker when putting things back together. As many of you know, the oil dipstick tube from a Corolla will be totally in the wrong position if we put it into the MR2. So this is why I am removing the oil dipstick in order to install the monkey wrench version. As you can see here, I highly suspect there's the gasket that just was failing right here. I suppose probably it needed replacing, or it was still the factory one, so I'm going to be changing that one. Probably the leak will come from there. Otherwise, in general, well, there's a lot of soot in the engine. It has 170,000 kilometers. So anyway, I removed this sump just so I can, so here you have the stock one. As you can see, there are no baffles in it. It's really without baffles. So we're going to put the 1ZZ one that has baffles on. We'll clean this, put a new silicone gasket, and reassemble everything from here. Looks pretty acceptable in general. Now if we look in here, as you can see, so the engine is upside down, but I highly suspect that around here there was some gasket failing, because if you look at there's also a lot of dodgy sealant around just right here. So that's also probably somebody fixed something at some point and didn't do such an awesome job. So that's going to be the next part. So ordering gaskets, and then hopefully I can reassemble everything. In general, mechanically speaking, the engine looks in good condition. Here you see the thermostat. I'll surely replace that also. And otherwise, looks pretty good. As I said, down here, there surely was a leaking gasket or something. Yeah. Anyway, so the idea is not to overhaul the whole engine right now. It's just to check it, resolve all leaking, and then who knows, you know, since it's going to be a race car, there surely will be some more things happening with the engine in the future. So anyway, in the immediate future, we're just gonna ensure that there's no leaks, everything works out, and we'll be going from there. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. As you see, we dove really deep into the whole engine and took many things apart. I'm really happy to say that actually the engine is in excellent condition. I don't need to do valve clearances. I just need to fix all these oil leaks, which will be solved just by putting new gaskets in. So I'm really happy about that, and as always, thanks all of you for subscribing and watching my videos. I see the subscriber count is growing more and more. I really want to thank you for tuning in and watching my videos. If you would like to see anything special or you're interested in certain things, make sure to comment below. Tell me if you want me to make videos about certain topics. And thanks a lot again, and see you next week.